On November 23rd, 2024, I created this, and I'm going to show you the sped up process of how I drew that, as well as talk about it. The idea for this character was given to me by a website, and this website specifically gives you a randomized one-sentence description of a character that you can use for whatever you want. And this one specifically is a tricky kobold bard from a lost tribe who has joint aches and complains like an old woman. Now, if you're wondering what a kobold is, I had the same kind of question when I first heard it, because in my head, I initially thought of a video game, World of Warcraft, and in this game, they have kobolds in it. Well, the kobolds in that game kind of resembled naked mole rats standing upright with little candles on their head. So that was what was initially there when I started sketching this out, and then I realized, well, wait a minute. Maybe that's not what a kobold actually is. So I went online, and I typed it in, looked it up, and on Wikipedia, it basically says just the first description is a general or generic name for the household spirit in German folklore. So I was kind of like, okay, I read a little bit more on that, still wasn't quite sure on what it should be, or at least what I wanted it to look like. So then I looked up Dungeons & Dragons and what their version was of a kobold, which for them, and within that lore, is basically like a small, draconic type of humanoid creature. I took the Dungeons & Dragons and World of Warcraft and blended them together. I leaned a little bit more into the draconic side of things, but kept them as more underground, cave-like creatures. Hence the blind eyes and the big ears to help them see and navigate, whatever they're doing down there. So for the rest of the description, since I had down the idea in my head of what I actually wanted it to look like, I had to take the rest of it into consideration. It's a bard, so I gave it some musical instruments. It suffers from joint aches, so you can see I gave it some little bottles and potions down around near its belt. I figured maybe that could represent any type of pain medication it might be taking, and I also, if you'll notice at the beginning of this, I had the hands in completely different positions, and then I realized, outside of it maybe looking a little awkward, that I thought it would be better if he was kind of rubbing his wrists. My dad actually has some form of arthritis and carpal tunnel syndrome, and that's what I thought of. So I thought, well, maybe it'd be a good idea if it was kind of rubbing wrists. It's wrist pain, which I've actually seen my dad do. So that's kind of where that came from. In general, that is this character in a nutshell, at least as far as the explanation and where the ideas came from and my thought process within that. If you have any other specific questions, you can leave them down below in the comment section, and if I don't answer them there, there's a good chance that I'll answer them in the next video, especially if they deserve a longer explanation. There's going to be another character introduction this week, Thursday. I'll have a short, followed by another video like this, more in-depth about that character next week. So hopefully I see you guys then. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Benjamin Humphreys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Good night.